Links to the original video listed down below. Do not bully or harass anyone shown in this video. This video is not meant to be a how-to guide. I am not a licensed therapist. For any professional help you may need, please contact a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Terms and conditions may apply. For the love of God, do not emulate any of the individuals shown in these videos. Hey everybody, Rock Guy here doing a different type of video for today. Something we've never done on the channel before. A video inspired by the editor and I after doing some YouTube trolling. We saw a bunch of cringe videos. There's a lot of cringe videos I showed the editor for no other purpose other than to freak him out. Upon him seeing these videos, he pretty much told me that I'm like a portal to hell, and I expose him to all this weird shit he has no concept of. And it got me thinking, I think I watch these videos for more reason than just having some sort of cringe reaction to them, or watching them as something to make me feel better about myself. Like, oh god, I'm so happy I've never done anything that obnoxious. And the more I thought about some of these videos, the more I realized I had a lot to say about them, beyond just the typical LOL cringe response that you get when watching some of these videos. In a lot of these videos, whether people want to admit it or not, myself included, you'll see yourself in some of the actions performed by these people. There's one video where I actually did see a lot of myself in that person, something I unfortunately identified with at one point in time. And we'll get to that video when we do. But for today's video, I thought we'd be talking about a very popular internet meme, Skippy the Virgin. So, I don't know a lot about this guy beyond this video. I know he's kind of like made a name for himself being really awkward and just hyping up the things he's deficient in life, being, you know, things pertaining to his social life, his romantic life, his career, etc. And it made me realize that there's a lot of people kind of like this dude. There's a lot of people who probably endure the same struggles Skippy does. And there's a lot of people who, I mean, I think it's beyond, I think Skippy's beyond help. But I don't think anybody, or I don't think everybody who relates to him is, you know, just screwed forever. And as someone who's been through quite a few relationships,
Your wife divorced you.
I actually do kind of have some insight that might be beneficial to anyone who's struggling with some of these things. Leaning back to the disclaimer at the beginning of this video, I'm not a licensed therapist. If this is like a genuine problem for you, you should absolutely see a professional. This is more so my opinion in terms of what would be best for an individual like Skippy, and what his headspace is, and how to tweak his headspace to where his actions are not so detrimental to his social and romantic life anymore. Again, it's just something we're trying out for now. Depending on how well the video does, we may or may not do more of it. Let's just see. Let's have fun with it and see where this goes. This is Rock Guy here, and I present to you the first video in our Cringetastic analysis series. Let's get to it. Okay, it should be noted that this is on a TLC channel, and being that this is based off reality TV, which as you know never lies, I am very well aware that a lot of this might be exaggerated and Skippy is probably playing up a character. As I understand it, he has done this before. He has basically tried for years making like a television show or a special about himself and his struggles to date. So before anybody says anything, yes, I am aware that a lot of this might be fabricated or exaggerated. I don't think all of it is, and there's just some things you can't fake, and that's really what we're here to talk about. So let's just address that right now.
You are so weird. What are you doing?
Okay, quick point. You see his shirt? It says nice guys finishing last since 97, 77 I think. It says Skippy is 34 in this video, so this video was published in 2017. Unless this was filmed like a few years prior, or many years prior, then that would be completely inaccurate, and I'm pretty sure Skippy's not that stupid to where he can't do basic math. But I wanted to talk about that shirt for a second. A big problem with a lot of guys like Skippy is they have this mentality that niceness kind of works like a coin-operated machine for women. Basically, if I act with enough niceness, eventually I'll get enough points to where you'll hook up with me or where you'll date me. You should be nice because it's good to be nice. Like, you shouldn't do it expecting anything in return. And I think that's like another problem with this dude, is he basically sees being nice as a chore. It shouldn't cost anything to be nice to somebody. And I don't think he understands that. A nice person doesn't say he's nice. Showing basic politeness doesn't entitle you to anything. I just really hate this shirt. I hope this isn't one of the ones he makes. Skippy likes to make t-shirts. The hell kind of club is this? What sort of dancing was that?
To get to know Skippy, you'll find you really, really like him, and hey, he might be marriageable material then.
Okay, so this is another thing, and I really hate to say it because this chick seems like she's a nice lady, but I really believe his mom's like a big problem in Skippy's life. It doesn't say in the video whether he has a job or not. I'm going to assume he does, just for the sake of giving him the benefit of the doubt. But that line in particular stood out to me, and it's a good example of why Skippy's still a virgin at the age of 34. Because he's approaching these chicks, these random girls, with just too much at once. It's like love bombing almost, but not really, because he's not in a relationship. But it's the same concept. Basically, like, why are you thinking about marriage, dude? And his mom's a part of the problem, because she's bringing that up too, as she just said. Like, if you get to know him, he's marriageable material. Why? Like, have you ever considered just hanging out, you know? That's a big problem with these people, is they tend to put too much of their eggs in one basket. And if you're this type of person, all I have to say is just take it easy. You don't need to marry the first person you have some sort of sexual attraction to or romantic attraction to. Because, hey, some people make very good boyfriends or girlfriends, but that doesn't mean they'd be husband or wife material. That doesn't necessarily mean you guys would get along. That's that sort of mentality Skippy has, where you just marry the first person you see like that. That's exactly what contributes to the high divorce rate in this country. And I think it's something that would be best left behind when you are trolling for a new romantic partner, or when you're looking to find someone new. Take it slow. Just relax.
Son. Do you want to meet my mom?
Why is his mom at this club anyway? Is she really... I know they said she was his wing mom at the start right now, but like, is she really doing it? If so, that brings up another problem this dude has, is this extreme lack of self-awareness. Like, when your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend meets your parents, that should be a very big deal. That should be something that's built up. Again, and not everybody's the same. I understand there are discrepancies, and everyone tends to approach things differently. But the fact that this dude is introducing these chicks to his mom, and then his mom's talking about him getting married, I think this is what's scaring a lot of women off from him, is he's just going too fast, and it's disturbing. Like, nobody wants to be rushed into anything, especially with someone they just met. At least most people don't. I don't know, man. It's just like a major lack of self-awareness. I saw one comment on this video that says Skippy is confident, but in all the wrong ways. And to abbreviate that statement, I think he's just delusional.
Guys, this is Skippy. Hi, guys. I've got so much more personality than any other guy in here. Like, it's a race for number 2, because the, like, funniest, the most creative guy just walked into the room.
Okay, so this is another problem a lot of these incels tend to have, is what he just said right then and there. A lot of these guys tend to be intimidated by men more affluent, better looking, and just all around in a better place in their lives than they are. Ultimately, they see it as a threat. And Skippy clearly does here, because he just insulted every guy in this room with what he said about himself. Again, confidence is good, but confidence must be backed up by evidence. And Skippy has no evidence to support that he is the most funniest, talented, or creative guy, or whatever the hell he just said in the room. In my experience, talking to a lot of these types of men, like chads, if you will, for lack of a better term, I found a lot of them are very helpful. A lot of them are really good people. They're really nice, really sweet, because they're in a good place in their lives. The better you feel about yourself, the more that message will convey to others. Those are the people you want to learn from. If you want to get better at anything in your life, you can't look at someone who's obviously and objectively in a better place than you, in the place you want to be, with contempt. You can't look at them with jealousy or with disrespect. You need to look at them with open-mindedness, because you could learn a lot from these people. Skippy really has no reason to believe he's better than anybody else. Nobody is entitled to feel that way. And if you are in a position where your talents are that recognizable, then you don't need to rub it in either. It's like that saying, you need to be strong and sturdy in the face of defeat, yet humble and graceful after you've obtained victory. Skippy really doesn't strike me as someone who has a grasp on that concept. There's no reason to believe he's better than anyone in this room, and that's kind of disrespectful to his friend, the Fred Durst guy, because this dude's throwing a party for him. You know, this dude's trying to help him out the best way he can, and he just threw him an underhanded insult.
I'm Skippy. This is our party, sort of. His, but mine.
Skippy likes to make t-shirts.
I don't know why, but that line is just so hilarious to me. Like, Skippy likes to make t-shirts. I feel like I'm going to start using that in my, like, day-to-day life now, whenever I introduce the editor to one of my friends.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say how, like, beautiful this chick is? Good God, look at that smile.
Back, fun, and single, and ready to mingle. But I have other shirts, too. Are you?
Yes.
How single are you, though?
Okay, so this is a pretty good example of where this guy goes wrong. This very good-looking woman is clearly just as romantically available as Skippy is. I'm going to assume the context isn't the same. I really doubt she's a 34-year-old virgin herself, especially since she looks younger than Skippy and she's much more attractive. But this is, like, let's just see where this goes. This is someone who's just as available as Skippy, someone yearning for a relationship in the same way Skippy is, and as of now, seems like they would be an appropriate match for Skippy. So let's see what he does with this.
Do you want to kiss me? My answer is yes, and then you can have this awesome shirt.
What if I kiss you on the cheek?
No. It says I made out with Skippy for 3 minutes. It doesn't say I kissed Skippy on the cheek.
And so it begins. There he goes, just torpedoing this. First off, I wanted to say, like, does he just carry random shirts with him everywhere he goes? I get that that's, like, part of his interest, and that's something that appeals to him, but why? And then what he's writing on the shirts, like, what the hell? Stop that, you know, like, just don't show people that. That's just weird. I made out with Skippy for 3 minutes, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Way to sell yourself, dude. That sounds like you're... I mean, you make it seem like a chore. You know what? What the hell? It may as well be, because that's not something I want to do. I don't want to make out with Skippy and then get some stupid t-shirts. One of the comments on YouTube says something along the lines of, I got sexually harassed by Skippy and now I need therapy. And that's kind of summing up this experience right here. Again, this is just so uncomfortable to watch. This highlights another issue with guys like Skippy, is he's clearly pressuring her into doing something she's not ready to do at this moment. And in doing that, he's ruining his chances with her. Because he's just coming off way too strong. And again, once more, there is some degree of exaggeration in my statements. I don't think Skippy is a monster. I don't, you know, there's so many people on YouTube way worse than Skippy when it comes to this sort of thing. But if you're somebody who identifies with this, if you're somebody who pretty much jumps at the nearest opportunity you have for a romantic encounter, and in doing so you end up torpedoing it, my advice to you would be to stop doing that. And this is why. Because in doing that, you're really freaking out anyone you may be interested in, because they're like, holy crap, this guy's ready to just jump on me. And this goes back to what I said earlier about the marriage thing. Like, stop moving so fast. Just play it cool. Just be natural. I really hate to lean on a cliche, and I don't want to say be yourself, but just don't be a character. Don't be unusual. Just be natural. Okay, we're going to have to edit a lot of this out because I'm getting carried away. Let's just keep watching the video.
I need a girlfriend. I'm in a rut in my life where I need companionship.
Okay, that part in particular really stood out to me, because Skippy says he needs a girlfriend due to the fact that he's in a rut in his life right now where companionship would make it easier. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in a bad place in your life, adding a relationship to it is not going to fix it. The solution to whatever your problem is, or in this case what Skippy's problem is to make something of himself now. He needs to channel his energy into something productive, something that's making his life better. Whatever that may be. It doesn't necessarily have to be something very big. It doesn't need to be something affluent. It just needs to be something that's enriching himself. For example, last year, fall of 2021, I lost my first career. And I fell into a deep depression after that for, I would say, August to most of December. It was at its peak from August to October because I got hired at this shitty office job, which paid in crackers practically, and I was miserable. And during that time, I went on a lot of dates, but nothing ever came of them because I was just so unhappy with myself. It didn't matter that I was going on a date because I didn't feel good about who I was. And if I didn't feel good about who I was, how could I expect a woman to feel the same way towards me? I don't think Skippy understands that. I feel like he's looking at these chicks as something that's going to turn his life around, to make everything much better. At one point in the video, he says that getting a woman would be his path to eternal bliss. No one person should have that responsibility. That is a lot to put on somebody, and honestly, it's not even a strong foundation. It's not even something legitimate. If you're looking for unconditional love, you need to get a dog, because you are not going to get it from a relationship. Honestly, I would even say you might not even get it from having children. Unconditional love is something that only a dog could provide. And contentment and peace with yourself is something only you can provide. And that's a big problem with these guys, is they seem to see getting a relationship as the answer to all their problems. And it's not. In some cases, getting into a relationship might make your rut worse. It might add more damage to whatever pit you're in already. So basically, yeah, that's one thing he should stop doing, and a lot of people should get that in their head. Like, getting into a relationship isn't going to turn things around. Extrapolating on what I said earlier about how I had all of these dates and nothing ever came of them, and nor should they. Like I said, I didn't feel good about myself, so I wouldn't expect anyone to feel good about me. Now, however, I left that goddamn office job. I got another job. It's not the most glamorous job in the world. It can best be summed up as a very, very good retail position, but it's a job that I'm very happy to be a part of. It's a job I've made a lot of peace with, and it's a job that contributes either directly or indirectly to the happiness I have right now. I'm in a great place in my life. Financially, maybe the career could be a little bit better, but I feel amazing about myself. My life can best be summed up as that St. Pepsi song, Enjoy Yourself. That's how I feel right now about everything. So now, that would be a great time for me to get into a relationship, because I'm in a position where I could contribute something of genuine joy to another individual's life. I can actually play my part in making someone a little bit happier, as opposed to counting on someone to make me happy, which is never going to occur. At this point, it's just patiently waiting it out. Skippy, however, he has the opposite perspective. He's putting a lot of pressure in this particular video on this woman to make things good for him. When in reality, if he made things good for himself, if he got to know himself, if he spent more time in self-reflection and learning about who he is as an individual and what makes him genuinely happy, then he would attract someone just right for him.
What Jimmy has in muscles, I have in personality. I hate to brag, but that's kind of the case.
That line in particular stood out to me about what he said in regards to his friend having muscle and him having better personality. If that's true, why aren't you working out? Like, why don't you go to the gym and fix your body? You only have one body. It's something to be treasured and cherished. Get in shape. That way, if what you said is true, now you have good muscle and good personality. The thing is, it's not true. In fact, the Fred Durst friend actually has a much better personality than Skippy, because he takes pride in his appearance. He takes care of himself. He values his body as something to cherish and preserve. And in doing so, he has better luck romantically, based off of this video, than Skippy does. He has better odds and more success because he's just a good person at his core. He's content with himself, and in doing so, he finds people that resonate with that. He gives off good energy, good vibes. Skippy's the opposite. He's not content with himself. He's desperately seeking validation, and because he is, he's drawing people away. He's freaking them out and disturbing them. Even then, that doesn't sit right with me. I don't like the way he said that about his friend. Here, his friend is throwing a party for him, and he's just talking crap about his friend to impress this chick he doesn't even know. He just met her. Like, dude, take some pride in your friendship.
I'm 34 years old, I'm a virgin, and I'm awesome. I'm really awesome, and I'm a good person, and if you got to know me, you would think so too.
Okay. The good people don't say they're good people. Let's just get that out of the way right now. This goes back to that YouTube comment on this video where it says he's confident in all the wrong ways. That's probably the best way to surmise Skippy, or that he's just completely delusional. Because he's trying to convince himself that all of this is true, in spite of the overwhelming evidence that it's not. It's just, he's trying to trick us into believing something that he doesn't even believe himself. It's a big problem with a lot of these guys. Like, I'll give Skippy credit. Unlike a lot of people I've seen on YouTube, he is making some attempts at being more confident, at selling himself more, and being a more captivating individual. That's good. There's nothing wrong with confidence. The problem is this confidence is really misguided, and it's not backed up by anything. Just thus comes in the delusional aspect I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
We need to get to know each other a little better.
I would love it if we got to know each other better.
It was so
Do you
nice
feel
to
that?
meet
There was
you.
chemistry here, right?
Absolutely. Are you
Same.
asking me for my number?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Hey, she's interested. Even after his bizarre t-shirt demonstration, she still wants to get to know him. The odds are in his favor. You know, make the most of it. Let's see what he does next.
Want me to get that for you? Thank you.
Oh, I should totally give you a tour.
Okay, perfect.
You know, I was going to say this is a part of the show that was exaggerated for the sake of reality TV. While that may be true, this is still a very real thing that happens pretty often. Like, if you're getting a first date with someone, don't have it in your basement or your room. It just, at best, it comes off like you're broke, and that's the best thing you can do. At worst, it comes off really, really creepy. You're basically, like, guiding this person into believing they're going to go on a wholesome date in your room, when in reality you have alternate intentions. Here's a chick really willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, genuinely willing to get to know him better, and then he pulls this crap. Ugh. Again, like, I am aware that this is probably exaggerated for the sake of TLC, but I see no reason to doubt that this doesn't happen in Skippy's life pretty much all the time, or that this isn't something that's already happened before or after.
My room. Here's my poster of the Osmonds, and over here is my belly button lint collection.
How do you think all that crap gets out of your house? It doesn't. It's in my basement in little jars.
That's pretty disgusting, Beavis.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, Pizza Hut with paper plates. Some things cannot be faked. Not even the best actors in the world can capture genuine, real human emotion. And this chick's face, this is probably one of the most uncomfortable parts of the video for me, because she just looks so bored and annoyed to be there. Like, yeah, she's eating this weird Pizza Hut dish or whatever the hell they bought, but she's clearly not happy. She's not interested. And you can see it in her expression. They're not in some engaging, deep conversation. They're not exchanging good information about each other, their dreams, their hopes, their lives, what they want to do, or even their passions. You don't even need to talk about that stuff on a first date, just the stuff that genuinely interests you and makes you unique as an individual. They're just like somberly eating, and she couldn't look any more uncomfortable. It sucks. I'm really happy I'm not her right now.
How many guys that you've gone on dates with in the last year still live at home?
Next question.
See, this part stood out to me too, because he's like torpedoing himself. It's just unfathomable. Like, he got lucky enough to have a chick that was taking some form of interest in him, and he chooses to ask something this obnoxious, which obviously makes her uncomfortable. Again, sucks the energy out of the room already. Like, she's just making things so dead. And this isn't some PUA crap. I'm not trying to sell you any of that nonsense. I'm just saying, like, if this is something you identify with, and I guess Skippy could be a good effigy for anyone who is suffering under similar circumstances. That's the whole point of this video, is to basically use Skippy as an example for a general audience, a general group of men who are struggling with this sort of issue. Then be aware of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with silence. I'm not saying things need to be bombastic and you need to just start talking about sex right away. There's a difference between natural silence and uncomfortable silence. And this is very evidently uncomfortable silence. It's like he's just trying to make things as bad or as awkward for her as possible. And the results are pretty much what you'd expect them to be.
Do you have your future kids' names picked out?
No.
I've had my future kids' names picked out since I was 14.
God. Okay, choosing your children's names should be a collaborative process. You shouldn't just force that on some individual. That's, again, like, and this ties back into the points I was making earlier. Like, this dude just keeps throwing stuff out there way too fast. Like, dude, I'm not gonna ask some chick I'm talking to what she wants her future kids' names to be on a first date. At least, not in the way he does, because it sounds so insincere. Like, he may as well just take the freaking ring pop out and propose right now. And you could see her look in disbelief. She's just like, what the hell, dude? Like, why are you asking me that? Ugh. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to elaborate on this point a little bit more. This kind of ties into a big problem with a lot of these guys, is they see these women as a means to an end, as opposed to genuine people. You shouldn't look at these people as objects. You shouldn't look at any romantic partner as just something to fulfill what you perceive to be lacking in your own life. And that's exactly what Skippy's doing. He's not treating her as a person. He's treating her as a point from A to B. Like, what about her future kids' names? You know, what does she want to name her kids? Why don't you ask her that? Dating should be symbiotic or collaborative. You kind of put some in and you get some back in return. It's like a dance. And in this particular dance, Skippy's just pretty much breaking her feet. Okay, so yeah, that's going back to what I said about how some emotions just can't be faked. This is one of them. Like, look at that. Just look at her face. I'm basically making the same face. Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a mask, but if I wasn't, you could see it.
I don't want to go on a first date with a girl and have her think that I'm interviewing her to be my wife. But it's always in the back of my head.
Okay, two things. One, that's exactly what he is doing. He's basically interrogating this chick. Not as bad as I've seen other people on YouTube do it, but he's pretty much doing that. And you can tell that has been his intention from the beginning, because that's all they've been talking about is marriageable material. Amidst a lot of things, he's really taking this shotgun approach to his romance. And two, why this goes, like, it all comes back to this, like, just stop moving so fast. It's nice to take things slow when you're dating. That's the point of dating, is you're supposed to figure out what works and what doesn't. You're just trying a bunch of different things and seeing what appeals to you the most. This guy is so desperate for validation that he's basically tying a ball and chain to the first chick he meets. And in doing so, he's scaring off a bunch of people. He's ruining a lot of good prospects because he's just so determined to tie somebody down. Dating should never ever be about that, and neither should marriage. There's nothing in particular you really need to do to attract someone right for you in a relationship other than being yourself. And by being yourself, I mean being the best version of yourself. Eating healthy, working out, taking pride in your job, or if you can't do that, or if you're in a really bad job, making the attempts to find something better or make the most of that current situation. Skippy does none of these things. He comes off as someone that basically wants to continue his lifestyle in the way it's been going without doing anything to improve upon it. And this ties back to what I said about my depression last year. Like, if you're not willing to make the effort to be the best version of yourself, then why should you give that version of yourself to anybody? Nobody deserves that. You want to give someone the best of you. And I feel like Skippy has this very shallow idea of what the best of himself is. If he actually put in some effort, then he could honestly attract someone much more appropriate for him, because he'd have a deeper understanding of who he is and what he wants. And that's all dating is just finding out what you want and what you don't want. That's why it's okay to have preferences. They always say your exes are the people who teach you the most valuable lessons because they show you what doesn't work. And I think that's very true. The problem with Skippy is he's not making that progress because what he's doing isn't even segueing into a natural relationship. He's just trying to be as abrasive and headstrong as possible that he's scaring off anyone from even giving him the opportunity to show what he can or cannot offer. And in doing so, he's losing out on what's best for him. And this is kind of worrisome because one of these days he might find someone that is just as desperate as he is, and they're going to get tied down together. The relationship's naturally going to grow into toxicity because things happen too fast before they could take time to appreciate and understand each other. And that's where divorce comes in. That's where people separate. Slow down.
So now what?
This is pretty much why you shouldn't be bringing people to your house for first dates, because, like, let's just face it, when you're at home, you're boring. Everybody is. I am too. Because the stuff that interests you at home is not interesting. It's usually consists of you staring at a screen, be it a television or a computer screen, or reading. You're usually not doing a lot of super interesting and captivating things at home. And in this particular case, they're just eating. There's not a movie or something super fascinating to expand a conversation. They're just sitting down eating Pizza Hut. Oh, I'm really on the edge of my seat now, dude. This is just, like, this was doomed from the start. Like, if you're going to take someone out, take someone somewhere where you can show them why you're an interesting person to date. Either someplace where you can properly converse, or if you can't converse, someplace where you could really demonstrate your passion, something that genuinely interests you. I've never had this sort of date as a first date, but I've had it through some of my relationships. And one of my favorite places to go on dates is the zoo. For some reason, I know a lot about animals. It's like a very interesting hobby for me. If you made it my job, I'd probably hate it. But when I go to the zoo, I can talk a lot about almost all of the animals there. I watched those Kruger sightings videos, and I was real into Brave Wilderness for a while. So that's something Skippy should be doing. He should be taking this chick somewhere where he can talk about something that genuinely means a lot to him, something he finds a lot of passion in as a person. Because when you're talking about something you genuinely love, in the case of this channel, it's music, the best version of you comes out. Because if you feel this good about something, even if it's not that particular person's cup of tea, they'll resonate with that. They'll see how passionate you are about it, and they'll be drawn towards it because they see how much you love it, and love is contagious. I mean, what is Skippy showing this chick? That he loves food? Nice.
I've got a surprise. Don't go anywhere if you want to kind of clean this up or something like that, but I'll be right back down.
Okay, I can do that.
Oh, God. I think the biggest problem with this dude is he has a severe lack of manners. Like, why would you tell anybody to clean up your mess? Like, be a freaking gentleman and clean it up yourself. Even if you do have something for her, the least you could do is pick up the trash and throw it in the garbage. Like, that's very rude, and that kind of, like, pissed me off just watching that. Luckily, she was very gracious about it, and she just cleaned it, but you could see it in her face. Again, this goes back to that natural expression that can't be faked. You could see how annoyed she is that he would even tell her something like that. And she brushes it off by laughing, but even so, she's probably just laughing because it's going to be something funny to tell her friends later. Like, you're not going to believe what this total douchebag told me to do on our date in his basement. I gotta give her credit. She's very sweet, and she handled this a lot better than I probably would if I was a chick.
Surprise, can you come in and share your talents with us?
There's that expression again. That genuine expression of discomfort and annoyance. God bless this woman. I hope wherever she is, she's doing really well.
Heavy hands on a...
You know, my editor can play a really crappy version of Smoke on the Water on the acoustic guitar. I don't know why, like, seeing this just made me realize how funny it would be if I got him to do that for one of my dates. Like, just have him come in, like, hey, surprise! And he comes in and just starts, like, butchering Smoke on the Water. Oh, God, what is he... Oh, okay, back to the video. What the hell is this crap? Like, you know, this would have been a great first date. Why didn't he take her to a concert? And you don't need to go to some badass concert. Like, you don't need to take her to see Alice in Chains or Red Sun Rising. You could... There's local bands playing all the time, and sometimes these bands range in variety and genre. One of my favorite dates with my past ex was this one time we went downtown and we watched a jazz band play. They were just a live band playing like in the street. I thought that was super cool. I still remember that as a highlight of our relationship, just watching this band play lounge music as we sit there holding hands watching them. It's a nice memory. I guess this is a memory too. I don't necessarily think I'd call it nice watching this awkward rocker dude play Wonderwall.
Do you want to dance? Can we slow down?
Sure.
Okay, one, he's not dancing. He's just kind of like dry humping her. And two, like, stop. What the hell? I didn't even know how to break that down. It's just, it's fine to want something like that, but what would have been more wholesome would be genuine dancing, not just swaying while he's hugging her from behind. This big spoon, little spoon crap. Again, actually, this is something that would have been appropriate at a concert, a genuine concert. Not having your friend come down, awkwardly butcher whatever the hell he's singing right now. You know what would have been a good first date idea? Is taking her to like a country bar. They could have been two-stepping. That would have been nice, like just dancing throughout the night. Similar to where they went at the beginning of this video. They go to like some really stupid club and they're doing like some line dance at the beginning. I thought the line dance sucked. But some place where they can genuinely dance. That would have been a good idea. This is, I mean, Jesus. Unless it's like Jerry Cantrell or Shimon Moore, I don't think I'd ever be down to just have someone come over and play guitar for my girl on a date. Actually, you know what would have been cool? If Skippy played the guitar. That would have been more interesting. Maybe, you know, that's a hobby. That's character development. That's something that shows his personality a little more. Then, no. I guess we're just not having that.
I like a girl that's shorter than me, and I want to be able to put my arm around her and just kind of like sway at a concert. Like, to me, that's great, and to me, that's cute. And whenever I see people doing that, I'm like, oh, I want to be them. I aspire to be a great big spoon.
I want you by my side or in a spoon.
This dance kind of highlights a lot of what this guy's problems are into just one concentrated thing. He's not really putting in any effort. He just wants a lot of this stuff to happen on its own without him putting in the work for it. Like, this is not a dance. Like, he keeps saying, I aspire to be a great big spoon. Why don't you learn how to properly dance? Like, just any sort of dance. Take a dance class. That's something that would be aspirational. That's something that would be cool. Everybody loves somebody who can dance. Nobody hates a guy that knows how to dance, because dancing takes a lot of confidence, genuine confidence. And it takes a lot of skill. I respect every guy I've ever seen who dances. I only know how to two-step. My dancing is literally the ramen noodles of dancing. But hey, at least two-stepping, even that requires some form of effort than what we're seeing Skippy do right here, where he's just spooning this chick and swaying back and forth. It seems more like he just wants an opportunity to hold this woman. And she's clearly uncomfortable as it is. You see it in this video too, how she's just bothered by what he's doing. So, yeah. His problem is he's not doing anything that's making her comfortable. He's being very selfish and self-absorbed. Very few people want to be with somebody who's like that. Especially in this particular case where he's not offering a lot to the table.
I want you by my side or in a spoon.
Awesome.
Free bird.
So if you want to start heading upstairs, there's like one last little surprise at the end of the night.
Okay.
I'll miss you.
Yo, can we just take, like, the time to appreciate how gracious this chick has been throughout all of this? Like, she seems like a very sweet individual. Again, maybe she is hype. You know what? No, I take it back. I don't even think she is hyping this up for reality TV. She actually just comes off as a very wholesome person naturally. I'm pretty sure at this point she's fed up with surprises, but she's probably thanking God he let her go back upstairs.
Before I give you this, and before I walk you to the door, I really do think that I did pretty good on this date.
That is not for you to say. Again, this goes back to that validation thing I keep talking about. Like, he's trying to project confidence while simultaneously seeking approval. And those things don't mix. It's like sweet tea and mercury. Yeah, that's a good example. Actually, no, let's just cut that part out. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have never once asked someone after a date, did I do good? Because who the hell does that? It's just weird. It goes back to what I said about the being a good person thing, where Skippy's telling everybody that he's a good person. If you're a good person, you're not going to tell people you're a good person, because you don't need to tell people you're a good person. A good person doesn't need to be reminded that they're good. And the same thing ties into this date. I think he's aware of how uncomfortable he made her, because no matter how delusional you are, everybody reads social cues, and you can see body language. And I feel like at this point he's just doing damage control, trying to salvage whatever he thinks there's left to save for this.
If I ask nicely, can I please just give you a kiss?
Oh, Christ. He's asking her like a little kid asks their mom for a candy or a toy. Pretty much begging for a kiss. And that's just... Nobody wants to be begged for anything when it comes to a relationship. In fact, that's actually a really bad sign if you're begging for something. Especially something that should be as natural and wholesome as a kiss.
It doesn't have to be giant, but can I give you...
Does that work?
Can I just give you a kiss, please?
Kitty, I don't kiss on the first date.
Okay, boundaries. After she said that, he should just completely drop asking for a kiss. She doesn't kiss on the first date. That is her prerogative. Just no more questions after that. Everybody's different. I know some people that are kind of like that, especially like a lot of my Christian friends, where kissing is something that comes with a few subsequent dates, not on the first one. I personally usually kiss on the first date if I have chemistry with that individual. In every one of my relationships, in every single one of them, I always kissed on the first date. And with dates where I didn't kiss on the first date, there usually wasn't a follow-up. And the reason for that is because you either see if you have chemistry or not, and a kiss is a culmination of that chemistry. A kiss should be beautiful, it should be natural, it should be something that comes on its own. And if it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys just probably want different things. Again, assuming you're not somebody that follows that policy of not kissing until a few dates in. Like I said, I like to kiss on the first date. And usually when I don't kiss on the first date, it's because that person isn't romantically interested in me. At that point, we amicably split and go our separate ways and just either remain friends or pursue greener pastures for us. Skippy, on the other hand, completely disregards this, and he's just like harassing this chick into doing something she's not comfortable doing. And this basically ties into the problem with the whole date, is that element of discomfort. She's not comfortable. She's not happy. She's not having fun. So why would she kiss you? To express appreciation for you making her clean up your trash earlier? Or maybe to express appreciation for you having your awkward friend come in and like play a few chords and sing some stupid Wonderwall song? Or maybe an appreciation for you just like dry humping her when you were so-called dancing? This dude just misses every single social cue, and the problem with that is he's not stupid. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this guy. I think he just chooses to make bad decisions. And in doing so, putting himself in a circle. He's like an Ouroboros. Or he's like the number 8. Like, just when you think he's going in a different direction, he really isn't. He's just making a turn and going the same place he's always been. Skippy is in his own rut.
A guy wanting to kiss a girl shouldn't be a shock to a cute girl. It should kind of be expected, right?
Okay, literally going back to what I just said, a guy kissing a girl, or a girl kissing a guy, or a guy kissing a guy, or a girl kissing a girl, should happen naturally. It shouldn't come as a shock if you guys have chemistry with each other, because at that point you want to kiss. And that's something to take note of. Like, if somebody doesn't want to kiss you, then that's a good sign that maybe they're not into you, and that's okay. Everybody's different and everybody has their own preferences. But at no point should you force someone into doing something they do not want to do. She's clearly not comfortable, and that is not okay. Like, no, no, no. Dude, just cut your losses. I'm willing to assume that this part of the segment is fabricated or hyped up for TLC. But everything in here just feels so natural that you know she genuinely feels this way. And you know this is something that happens to Skippy really often. She's not expected to do anything for anybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all for tonight, Skippy.
Dang, this chick is so polite. Like, I can't even begin to comprehend how sweet this woman was and how, I guess, generous she was in terms of this whole ordeal. The fact that she even did that was pretty wholesome. That's pretty much all I've got for this. So if there's any takeaway, if there's just if you've been watching this with me and you're like, well, what the hell was the point of that? Like, stop talking about this, you douchebag. Talk about Creed or Stone Temple Pilots. If somebody's watching this and actually thinking that, then all I have to say is, well, actually, you're probably not really that interested in this video if all you're thinking about is Stone Temple Pilots throughout this. But if you are somebody who has been watching this and you are someone that maybe struggles from the same issues Skippy struggles with, and the takeaway you're asking me is like, well, what the hell is the point? What are you telling me to do, or what do you think would be best for someone who's struggling with these same issues? My message would be just be natural. A problem with Skippy and like-minded individuals is he's not natural. He has this headspace. It kind of reminds me of BoJack Horseman, where he sees his life as a sitcom, so he expects things to play out that way. That's how Skippy sees his romantic life. He has this weird, misguided idea as to what it should be, and it's obviously not playing out in the way he wants it to in his life, because what he wants isn't natural. So my message to you is just be natural. Like, for one, stop treating women like some alien species. And stop treating sex like this be-all, end-all grace into happiness. Like, sex is simultaneously the best thing ever and overrated. And lastly, stop assuming a relationship is going to fix every problem you have in your life. As I said before regarding my depression last year, I would have hated to bring someone into my life at that point, because they didn't deserve that. There's no reason to bring someone into your life when you're so unhappy with yourself. What you have to do is you need to make things good for you. You need to put yourself in a good spot in your life. And in doing so, that will resonate with other people. Like I said, I'm not in a relationship now, but I am dating more. I am going out more often, and I'm having more fun on these dates, even if they're not as prosperous as I would hope, because I'm happy with who I am. And that's all you really need. Like I said, it's pretty much that same Pepsi song, enjoy yourself. Be happy with who you are, and in doing so, you'll be able to share that happiness with others. I don't think Skippy is happy with himself. I think he's just delusional and out of it. I don't keep up with this. I understand Skippy has, like, I've heard he has a YouTube channel, and if by some miracle he sees this, I hope he knows this isn't done to shame or humiliate him, but rather for me to give my constructive opinions as to what's going on in this relationship. As always, do not harass Skippy if he does have a YouTube channel and you find it. Just learn. Like, you live or you learn, and there's a lot to learn from this, especially in terms of people who are not that astute in relationships. Pretty much all I've got to say for that. There we go. Alright, everybody, that was our first episode in our Cringetastic analysis series. Like I said, depending on how well this does, or I've got several more ideas for this series. There's a few more things I would like to share, especially that one video where I saw what I identified with at one point in time. I think a lot of people would take interest in that because of how real it would be. If you're going through some of these issues, I hope my advice and my constructive criticism doesn't tell you how to live your life, but rather gives you some sort of idea as to what you could do better and not making the same mistakes the individual in this video made. So as always, thanks for watching. Drop any suggestions or interests you have in the comment section down below. Is there anything that you'd like for me to react to? Anything that you think I'd give a solid perspective or opinion towards? If so, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, be calm, be cool, be collected, and I'll see you later.
These people building ships and